We're right in the thick of school holidays now, and many in our community are looking to step aside from the normal grind and be refreshed. Well, that's a part of what worship is here every Sunday. We step aside and we come together and turn our attention to our great God, and as we do, our souls are revived. When we step aside and we turn our attention to God, our vision of God is enlarged. We experience the abundance of His grace and our faith is renewed. This is our prayer for all who participate in this service this morning. So let's turn our attention toward God and remember the love that He has shown us. God's love to me is wonderful. He hears the whispers of my heart. He comforts my tears. His hands are strong to hold me. He has proven worthy of my trust. Let's stand to sing God's love to me is wonderful. Let's read together verse 3. God's love to me is wonderful. He lights the darkest way. I now enjoy His fellowship. 'Twill last through endless day. My Father does not ask that I great gifts on Him bestow, but only that I love Him too and serve Him here below. Let's sing together verse 3.
Proverbs 4:20-27. My child, pay attention to what I say. Listen carefully to my words. Don't lose sight of them. Let them penetrate deep into your heart, for they bring life to those who find them and healing to their whole body. Guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. Avoid all perverse talk. Stay away from corrupt speech. Look straight ahead and fix your eyes on what lies before you. Mark out a straight path for your feet. Stay on the safe path and don't get sidetracked. Keep your feet from following evil. This is the word of the Lord.
Guard your heart. Keep your focus in the right place, that your feet will walk the path that brings life. Let's continue to focus our attention this morning on the living God. Let's stand to sing and bring our worship to God as we sing, How Great is Our God.
The splendor of the King, clothed in majesty, let all the earth rejoice, all the earth rejoice. He wraps himself in light, and darkness tries to hide, and trembles at his voice, trembles at his voice. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? And all will see how great is our God. And age to age he stands, and time is in his hands, beginning at the end, beginning at the end. The Godhead three in one, Father, Spirit, Son, the Lion and the Lamb, the Lion and the Lamb. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? And all will see how great is our God. Your name above all names, you are worthy of all praise. My heart will sing, how great is our God. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? And all will see how great is our God.
I invite you to be seated if you'd like to.
Love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire in darkest night. You are close like no other. I've known you as a father. I've known you as a friend. And I have lived in the goodness goodness of God. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I will sing of the goodness of God.
The faithful love of the Lord never ends. His mercies never cease. Great is his faithfulness. In mercies began afresh each morning. I say to myself, the Lord is my inheritance. Therefore, I will hope in him.
Every generation, we've sung it as we sang that newer song, Goodness of God. Every generation, as they've looked backwards, have been able to discover the faithfulness of God. As we ready ourselves for our prayer time, we're going to sing together a song of a different generation that came to the same conclusion. Great is thy faithfulness, O God my Father. There's no shadow of turning with thee. Our God doesn't change. His compassions never fail. Great is his faithfulness. Let's sing together.
Okay, good morning, church. I'm very happy to have my very first sermon, and I always feel very welcome here with you guys. And I'm very thankful that Leith gave me the opportunity to speak out of my heart, because the topic I'm talking about today is a topic that is maybe the most important topic that was inside my head and heart the last couple of years. So the Proverbs from today is give careful thought to the path for your feet and be steadfast in all your ways. And through the sermon, I want you to be a little bit more closer, especially to the word steadfast, and to really think if it's possible to be that in all our ways, no matter how our circumstances are. Viktor Frankl is a person who is very famous in Germany. He was a Jewish psychiatrist. And what happened to him was that when he was 37, alongside with his parents and his wife, he was deported to a concentration camp. And while he was there and suffering from the death of many people, including his whole family, he recognized that even though circumstances can't get any worse, he still has what he calls the last of human freedoms to choose how to respond. He says there was a big difference of resilience if people chose to think why this happened to me. And of course, especially in a concentration camp, you would get crazy by that thought. You would never find an answer to that. Or if people chose to think, what can they do with what they have? And this is what he wrote. We who lived in concentration camps can remember the men who walked through the huts comforting others, giving away their last piece of bread. They may have been few in number, but they offer sufficient proof that everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms. To choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. So we look at the Proverbs 4:26 again, and it says, give careful thought to the path for your feet and be steadfast in all your ways. So what actually does steadfast mean in that way? When we look at a few verses before that, it says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. So I reckon it's quite worth it to spend more time in what our heart is and what drives it in order to listen to it more accurate. So this is what Viktor Frankl pretty much pointed out. There's a stimulus, there's a reflection, and there's a reaction. And the last of human freedoms is the reflection part. And that reflection part is so powerful because in that part, our creativity happens, which is a skill that we have like no other species in this world. So today, I want to point out that a little bit more, and not just about how we reflect between every choice we do throughout the day, but to scale it out a little bit further, to think about our past and our future and think, how much are we actually in sync with our heart? To do that, we need to understand who we are and what our unconsciousness is. It's quite fascinating for me. There's a scale that says our unconsciousness, like if we would scale the unconsciousness in measures, the unconsciousness would be 11 kilometers, and our consciousness 3 millimeters. And if we look at our consciousness, of course we don't see everything from our unconsciousness, but it's our decision where we want to look at. Like if it would be a torchlight in our unconsciousness, where do we want to point our torchlight? And that's quite interesting as well. Like when we look at other people, to know that they have so many memories in themselves stored that make their character in the end of the day, it's pretty much our choice which side of their personality are we attracting. How do we treat them? Are we looking for the deficits, or are we looking for the things we want to encourage? But if we want to look at ourselves, how we treat ourselves, yeah, it's interesting to look at which spots in our unconsciousness do we want to put forward. Like there are a lot of experiences in our life that drove us that we might forget sometimes. There's this nice saying that says, never forget in the dark what God has shown you in the light. I think it goes very inclined with the Psalm 77:11. I will remember the deeds of the Lord. Yes, I will remember your miracles of long ago. So once a year, since 7 years, I have this festival where all my loved ones come together, like my family, my best friends and their best friends. And always when I'm there and I'm full of love and feeling accepted, I always think about all the other times in this year where I was worrying so much about problems that were not real problems. And it feels like in those situations of love that I have a clearer sight. And for me, it makes quite sense, because if we say that love is light, light gives us more clarity, and clarity gives us, again, a better vision and more wisdom for our actions. Of course, love must be healthy love, but yeah, in that term, it's very important to see and to remember what we actually decided to choose, how we want to respond when we had more vision and clarity, when we are in the dark. So how can we look at our unconsciousness in a more loving way? We can ask more direct questions like, what makes you feel truly alive deep inside? Who gives you life? How much time do you spend with them? What contribution do you want to make in this world? What would you do if money wouldn't matter? Or to speak it in other ways, think about when you really experienced God, when you had the feeling to be connected to Him, when He spoke to you. So when we look at this reflection part again as a church, we can zoom out. Just imagine, okay, those dots might even represent the current attendance of the church. But when we look at ourselves as a church, we can as well look again at our past and our future and reflect together how we actually want to respond. So when we come together and really think about, as like a swarm intelligence, as an organism, what stories really drive us? What stories really drives our character? And how can we use those stories for the future, to imagine a future that we want to spend more time with? So in practical terms, we are currently doing a magazine to use exactly that time between past and future, a reflection time to use a magazine where we have those questions as a topic. So currently this is the cover, it's all still in progress. We want to speak to the church and the community. We want to be more inclined with our why. We want to show what we are doing and where. And of course, we want to speak about our past and speak about what we pray for in the future. So to come to the full circle, we are currently having this progress of this magazine, and we want to be more proactive in asking you about your stories. We want to ask you what you imagine for the future for this church. And so in the upcoming weeks, we will send an email with the current draft and ask for your feedback in order to create a more inclined future with purpose and our freedom of choice. Thank you.
Don't forget in the dark what God has shown you in the light. When we turn our focus and remember God, we see that God has proven Himself to be our shepherd. When we take time to remember how He has shown through all generations that He is faithful, that His goodness can be relied on, it helps us to step forward and to respond rightly to whatever challenge is coming our way in the present. For our response this morning, I invite you to reflect on God's interaction with your life. Where have you experienced the goodness of God? Where have you experienced His faithfulness? And then think about the present circumstances you're facing at the moment. Some of you are facing battles with health. Some of you are facing waiting time where something exciting is about to happen, but you're just in this wait time. Some of you know you've got a difficult week coming up. How have those experiences with God in the past And they're not always our personal experiences. Sometimes they're what God is, what we've heard, witnessed by generations who have gone before us, what we've heard from the scriptures about how God has interacted. How can that affect my response to the challenge that's coming my way this week? We're going to sing together a song that has the words of the 23rd Psalm. And it's a song that invites reflection in the middle of chaos, to help us walk forward with confident trust in our good God. So let's invite the Spirit to inspire us to reflect and impact how we will step from this time of worship today.
Lord's my shepherd, I'll not want. He makes me lie in pastures green. He leads me by the still, still waters. His goodness restores my soul. And I will trust in you, our Lord. And I will trust in you, our Lord. For your endless mercy follows me. Your goodness will lead me home. He guides my ways in righteousness, and He anoints my head with oil, and my cup it overflows with joy. I feast on His pure delight, and I will trust in you. I will trust in you. And I will trust in you. For your endless mercy follows me. Your goodness will lead me home. And though I walk the darkest path, I will not fear the evil one. For you are with me, and your rod and staff are the comfort I need to know. And I will trust in you. And I will trust in you. For your endless mercy follows me. Your goodness will lead me home. For your endless mercy follows me. Your goodness will lead me home.
Our sending song reminds us how good remembering leads to good action. I want to tell what God has done becomes, I want to tell you what God can do. When we remember what God has done, it inspires us to have faith in what God can do. Benediction this morning also comes from Proverbs. The first part does. Let's read it together. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and don't lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will direct your paths. Go assured that God is worthy of your trust. His mercies begin afresh every morning. Amen.